Ubisoft is truly a special game company. With the number of gems, trash, and scandals they pump out, it's truly amazing. But in the last 5 years, Ubisoft has started to fall in, let's just say mediocrity would be a nice way to put it. And let me just preference by saying, this is not me hating on Ubisoft. I've been playing Ubisoft games since I can remember, starting with the OG Splinter Cells and Rainbow Six Vegas's, as well as the Ghost Recon, Advanced Warfighter, being memorable from my childhood. So I wouldn't say I hate Ubisoft, but wouldn't say I love them either. See, the thing with Ubisoft in recent times, most of their games would be what I would describe as no real effort. Most of Ubisoft IPs being copied and pasted for so many years has seen really cool ideas flushed down the drain with lazy design and no real innovation. Which brings me to the main topic of this video. Why Far Cry 6 should really be Ubisoft's last chance. Ubisoft's recent form has been quite disappointing. Just in the last 2 years, the amount of subpar video games they have released is really quite sad. Case 1, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is the 12th mainline game in the series and did nothing really that special, setting you in the Viking Age with an okay at best story, a decent soundtrack, and a world design with a ton of technical issues.
What the dog doing?
Making this another subpar Assassin's Creed game that will be forgotten within a year's time. That just shows the amount of garbage we've been getting from the series for the last 5 years. Case 2, Hyperscape, Ubisoft's most recent free-to-play battle royale game that was just bad, unbalanced gunplay, a story they try to push on you from the second you turn on the game that's just boring and sucks. Nothing worthwhile to grind for from the battle pass they give you. It's just another bad battle royale game that tries to cash in on the market and has done nothing new for the genre that makes it worth playing. Case 3, Immortal Phoenix Rising. This was an original IP with a nice narrative and cool writing, and had an amazing soundtrack, which I'll give them props for that. But unfortunately, the gameplay and the world design had zero innovation, completely taking all of its aspects from Breath of the Wild. The amount of comparison videos that are shown online, it's really sad. It also didn't help that another free-to-play Breath of the Wild clone dropped 2 months before of the name of Genshin Impact and paid every YouTuber on the earth to play it. It really doesn't help when you look like a clone of a clone and you're the overpriced garbage. But at the end of the day, they're both clones of a game that is just simply better. But Ubisoft made an $80 game with the same quality of a free-to-play shitty gacha game.
That fucking sucks!
Case 4, Watch Dogs Legion. This game fucking sucks. And the worst part about this game is I thought it was going to be good. A fan of the IP since it was announced back in 2012. I thought the company had good intentions making this making a really good game with a really cool premise. Fortunately, I just got fucked. And everyone who bought this game, even if you bought this game on sale, really just got fucked. This game is terrible. Boring gameplay, unironically one of the worst stories in any video game. Not even one memorable character, and its multiplayer has been broken. It's just a poor experience it's just nobody wants to experience an experience like this for a game. It's just terrible. Basically, what I'm trying to say is Ubisoft's recent games have been bad. To say the least, it makes me go from wanting to support this company to never give them any of my money ever again. It really shows me that they're not learning lessons and willing to cut corners and do minimal effort and release the same garbage year after year, charge me full price. And it really is sad when they actually make a decent game, and not even like an amazing game, just decent at itself. It's celebrated like it's special and it should be held as a freaking gem. It's really pathetic to show the mediocre standards this company has fallen under. And it's sad because the amount of gems they have under their belt really makes me sad to see the downward spiral this company is going down. Far Cry 6 as you can guess, is the sixth mainline game in the Far Cry series and aims to be its most ambitious title yet.
Far Cry 6, we're gonna throw you into our most ambitious open world yet.
From its beautiful open world, gunplay, and characters, Far Cry offers a lot more, and could be finally returning to its roots. With the Far Cry series, the general consensus is that everything after Far Cry 3 has been nothing really that fresh and has just been lazily just copying the same formula time after time. But why wouldn't Ubisoft want to copy Far Cry 3 formula? It's finally crafted something perfect. Amazing side content with its outpost, a compelling story that makes you fall in love with one villain, as well as some fun open world gameplay and shooting action. Who wouldn't love selling 10 million copies 2 years time? It's amazing and truly feels like Ubisoft found a perfect formula. But at the end of the day, you can keep making the same formula, people are going to get sick and tired of it. But also in Ubisoft's hand, they need to make money, and why be creative when you can use the same proven formula? The quality between Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 in the series, just look at the difference between starting a mission in each of those games.
You're Buck. Well, it's not my birthday. She must be Christmas.
I'm here for my friend, Keith.
Hello. Did we enjoy our time with the CIA? Welcome to Dagesh. I apologize for the Spartan accommodations, but...
Where the hell you been? Been trying to reach you. Got a job for you. You remember the Grandview Hotel? That shithole we pulled you out of?
It's terrible how the game in 2012 looks and feels more alive than the game that was made in 2018 on the next generation. It really shows what a milkable formula can do to a great franchise. This brings me to Far Cry 6, and how should it be hyped for all it is going to be the next Ubisoft gem, or is it going to be the next Ubisoft's Black Friday dud that no one remembers the year's time from its release? And yes, the cinematic they released a year ago looks fantastic, and the gameplay trailers look pretty good. But the amount of games I can think of that had fantastic trailers that went on to bomb, and just look at 2020 alone. Bruh. But I want to show some noticeable details, for good and bad, from the trailers. They do give me hope, as well as do give me some fear. Accepting missions, from what I've already showed you, Far Cry 5 intros to missions felt bare bones. They're extremely boring, the world around you do not feel alive, and your mannequin ass applies nothing to the cutscene, which makes it extremely boring and makes you not care. But the little doses they've showed you already for Far Cry 6 cutscenes, with the protagonist Danny and the other supporting characters, really make you show the world alive and make you engage in the cutscenes. It makes me care about the story and the characters around it. Playing through Far Cry 5, I can't even remember one cutscene besides the intro that had real detail around it and during it. And you not having a character in Far Cry 5 really shows that you're supposed to be focusing on the character that's talking, and when the character is not written well or just boring, it ruins the cutscene completely. I can remember back to Far Cry 3 and 2 when the amount of cutscenes that were so well done and felt alive. The writing really shows here, and shows that recent Far Cry games there's not been the impact on the writing and the narrative, which really ruins the cutscenes. Well, what we've seen so far with Far Cry 6, of course, we've only seen one cutscene, but really shows that they're trying to really build that narrative back, which could really be a saving grace in the Far Cry series. Healing animations. One thing I can say about Far Cry 2 and 3 was that I love to see the number of awesome and just crazy healing animations. Yes, you could always say that they were kind of not realistic and just dumb, but I prefer to see that than a bandage that's always being wrapped around my right arm, even if I've been shot in the skull. It's so powerful, this bandage. It soaks through the veins and heals a bullet wound and completely repairs your skull. And yes, you could say, again, it's not supposed to be realistic, but then it kind of defeats the purpose of not having these crazy animations that may not make sense if they need to be healed. But the first unique healing animation you've seen is Danny taking a lit cigar and applying it pressure to a bullet hole when taking fire. You know, it's cool. It's better than the damn bandage. So, you know, I'm not complaining. I think this is a good step in the direction of this. The new little details have been added. And hopefully with the amount of environment and the amount of ways to fight, Far Cry 6 has a lot of cool, funny, unique animations for healing, and it shows that they may be going back to their roots to something I'm really pressing. Is going back to their roots might be the best thing for Far Cry 6 to do. Yara is a fictionalized version of the real-life country Cuba, and just from shots alone, you can tell the beautiful work being done to capture Cuba's essence. From the city's infrastructures, to its cars, to its music, it really looks like good work is being done to capture Cuba. Many have said, though, that Cuba is frozen in time, and I'm not going to give you a whole history lesson on why many have said that, and documentaries and all that. There's plenty of things you can do to look up, but if you look at it, with its cars and just everything, it looks like it's been trapped in the same time era for decades. As well, something I learned while researching for this video is that there are telecommunication center where you can go to use the Wi-Fi, because you don't just have Wi-Fi everywhere, as well as other countries. So I wonder if the game's gonna somehow like put this into the game somehow. I was thinking maybe the outposts would be the centers, and you have to take them back, and if the main character wants to like trade weapons or have intel to sabotage the enemies. I don't know, I'm just spitballing ideas here, but I'm just thinking many ways to like bring the current culture of Cuba into the game would be a really cool thing. And as well as the jungle, I want to say the jungle looks fantastic. The shots they've shown of the jungle and just the hills and all that looks amazing. I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of opportunity for cool hunting missions. I just want to know, I want some like cool hunting missions like in Far Cry 3. I don't want some boring shit. I just want some fun hunting missions. It looks really cool. Some of the new characters shown in the 3 trailers so far shows that we have a wide variety of new cool characters to experience and get to know. First character being the main protagonist, Danny Rojas. You have a choice of either choosing male or female for Danny. Danny is born and raised in Yara, and a military dropout who, instead of wanting to do anything else, just wants to flee the country. It's pretty obvious through supporting characters as well as self-motivation itself that she or he will become the main leader of the revolution against the villain. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some M. Night Shyamalan twist where she's related to the villain somehow. I bet $50 that she's related to the villain. That's all I'm saying. There's going to be some typical twist. It's a Ubisoft. You can come back to this video. I guarantee you it's going to happen. Some other notable side characters seen throughout the trailers. Carla Garcia is the leader of the Revolution Group, as well as Juan Cortez. No, guys, not the Vice City one. But he seems to be your mentor through the game, very similar to how Dennis guided Jason at the start of the game through Far Cry 3. And all I know about Juan is that he's an ex-KGB spy master. He's going to help Danny awaken his inner guerrilla fighter, He kind of looks like a scrap Vice City character, to be honest. Finally, the main reason I'm making this video, Anton Castillo, the main antagonist of this game, and played by the extremely talented Giancarlo Esposito, from many famous roles such as Gus Fring from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, as well as starring in The Mandalorian, The Boys, and very many other big roles. He's extremely talented, and if given a good script, can be one of the best villains in recent gaming. Just from interviews alone, it shows that he genuinely looks excited, and yes, this is a job to him, and just like many actors, musicians, whomever, in this sort of role, you have to have a camera face, unlike you. But unlike a lot of bigger names that enter video games, I feel that, especially maybe nowadays, it's changing, like especially with Keanu Reeves being in Cyberpunk. Before then, it kind of felt like an actor going to a game felt like this was beneath them. But unlike him, he feels like he just wants to bring the best of this opportunity. And like just from interviews alone, like I'll be showing clips, but he generally looks excited.
Anton is very smart at how he manipulates Diego and puts him in the position he needs to be in. He's questioning him constantly about what he thinks. What is your truth? He has a saying, truth or lies, truth or lies. And truth is always going to be the winner. But is Anton always telling the truth?
What was it like when you saw the kind of final for the first time?
I argued that they were fooling me. That's really how I felt. I looked at it and it was so very realistic, almost super real. And I couldn't determine whatsoever that they built me. And I told my representation, I said, that's not it's no, they didn't build me, that's me. You know? So I'm quite amazed at what they can do.
It's just fascinating. It's like big brains.
And honestly, like this, like in the industry, him, like if he can portray as good as a villain as, you know, I think, and can really save this game, this is going to be an amazing turn for Far Cry as well as just villains in general. Also, Anton's son Diego Castillo, played by Antonio Gonzalez, most notable role, the main character in Coco, the Pixar movie that won an Academy Award and all that. His depth, he's just shown as young, and that he's not really ready for the role of taking the throne from his father. Unfortunately, they haven't really showed him at all besides the cinematic and like 2 scenes in the trailer, so we'll just have to wait and see what he's going to be. But I do think that he's probably going to be the biggest role in the story, despite Danny and Anton. Also, there are some other characters shown. This dude who's unnamed, and he's just your mechanic blacksmith looking guy. Kind of looks like to be one of the humorous characters, talking in funny stories. You can just tell from his intro that he's probably going to be one of the funnier characters.
I only see you. So why are you here?
I watched Castillo order a whole boat of our people shot to death. And I want to know who's going to help me take him down.
Okay.
Also, this guy who's a chef.
You got that right. Camp chef.
Cutting an alligator. There's this cowboy-looking dude who's making a plan. You know, there's looking like there could be a potential for a lot of cool side characters that make your journey through the story amazing. There aren't that many cons that you can see from the trailer, at least in my point of view. The one thing that doesn't really look promising is the enemy layout. It looks exactly the same as previous titles, which doesn't really bode any hope. You know, you got your typical soldier, then your sniper, your big boy, and then you got your flamethrower, you got your special unit. I think they added some shield guy, you know. It doesn't really look good and does kind of bring in the theory that the formula has not changed from 9 years ago, and we might not be getting a truly alive Far Cry that we want. At the end of the day, I feel a Ubisoft game with a good story, fun gameplay, and an alive world with cool characters is the right way to go, but unfortunately I feel like the similar outpost setups as the for previous games, as well as enemy layout, I feel like that is inevitable and will happen. But honestly, I feel like if a story's good and I'm having fun playing it, as well as the world actually feels alive, unlike Far Cry 5's dead world, I feel like that's not the perfect game, but I feel like Ubisoft is taking the right steps in the right direction. And as long as it's more quality than just quantity, and they're actually like trying to make the games like a better experience more or less than just more every year, I feel like that's the right steps they need to make good games. And they do have a bunch of, like, they have Beyond Good and Evil 2, and we have you know, so many games on the horizon for Ubisoft that just keep getting pushed back. So maybe this is the right step. Maybe they just need to go back to their roots, experiment with a well-known series that will sell. So I'm just trying to see both sides here, but like, tell me what you guys think. Do you guys think this is Ubisoft taking the right steps? Do you think it's just going to be another clone of Far Cry 6 with a cool villain? Tell me what you think in the comments. We really like to know. If you guys like these videos, please drop a like, subscribe. I have another one like this that should be done soon. This one just kind of, Far Cry 6 just dropped the event, and I was just like, let me hop on that. I really like the Far Cry series. Tell me what you guys think. Like and subscribe. You know, peace.